paper chaser, chasing papers, ain't no favors. We ain't waiting for others to catch the vapors. This is a style on, luxury style, y'all trying to pile on. Dollars in wild forms, cash and checks, I have to flex. I'm past your necks, from the cap to the neck. Give me a spot on the Forbes list. The patterns and more flips, hitting by now as soon as the store hits. Good manners with envelopes and bags, foreign currencies and cash. Running the block, running these spots fast.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We're back with some more exclusive content. Josh Volz has graced us with his presence. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. So, Josh, you've been around for a while, so I had to get you into an episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. But before we kind of commence with the festivities, we'll conduct a little bit of a get-to-know-you session and kind of learn a little bit more about you. So first things first, you started pretty strong, I would say. You were in the same week as Manny Cartoon Studio. So Chupacabras was an elite first entry that I thought to the Clink Room. What kind of got you started with the Clink Room?
So I started looking just through random design stuff. I grew up with I'm totally into monster movies, like 90s gross out toys, that kind of stuff, and I always wanted to try to figure out a way to build that into something. And so I have a Dribble account, and I started looking through other people's stuff, and then randomly I saw the Casper Ghost logo, that old minor league team, and I just caught my attention. And I've always loved like really heavy vector sports design stuff too, especially minor league stuff. So I started looking into that, found Brandios, got an internship with the local team, the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, for a summer, and just kind of fell in love with all of that sports design and started looking up more of that, and then looking more into Brandios, and then found Clink, and then just kind of went from there.
Nice. What's your normal creative process behind like designing a 5950 cap? Like, do you have a specific approach to creating like a unique and distinctive design?
So a lot of it is just like thinking of goofy puns or something in my head.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times I'll just look up. Multiple times I've looked up weird animals, and then I'll go from there and I'll find like the weirdest animal I can find, or just something that's like really unique about something that I think would lend itself to a fun design. And then I don't do as much traditional art as I would like. So I get out my trusty iPad and I'll just sketch tons of stuff like over and over and over again, and then kind of go from there. But I think trying to figure out that initial like kernel of an idea, and then just kind of going from there. And I've had a lot of luck with, like Lane's been giving me some really great ideas. Done some stuff here recently with Sawed Off Samurai and stuff like that, and those guys. So it's really cool to get ideas from the community, and then kind of pepper your own things in between, and try to kind of bring some more of like your own self into some stuff too. I've tried doing some kind of grosser designs that maybe didn't fly, like the pterodactyl one, and had like bones and all kinds of stuff all over them. But I just trying to, I guess, bring your own ideas or your own kind of sense of self into the design, I think, is a huge part of it too.
Yeah. You mentioned a little bit working within sports. Do you have any specific teams that you follow that kind of?
I've grown up in Indiana basketball, so Hoosiers, IU basketball. I was big into NBA, Reggie Miller, the 90s Pacers. Kind of fell out of stuff for a while, and then I got back into the Pacers back when PG and David West and Roy and all those guys were in it. So I've fallen back hard into the Pacers. I'm a huge Pacers fan. But otherwise, I mean, we've got our local minor league baseball team. We've got our minor league hockey team, the Comets. So a lot of local stuff, I guess. But outside of that, I'm a big basketball fan.
Nice, nice. The Pacers are kind of like Canada North team. You guys got so many different Canadians on that team: O'Shea Brissett, Matherin, and Andrew Nemhard and stuff like that.
Yep.
So we're always kind of, at least for me, I'm from Toronto, so I'm always kind of cheering for the Pacers to do well. I was always silently hoping that you guys would trade us Miles Turner, but now that
I think we're
gone, I don't think that's
keeping him.
Yeah, I don't think that's
people are Pacers fans are so weird about him. I've always loved him, but people are kind of hot and cold with him. And Pacers fans are just kind of fickle sometimes. But yeah, I'm glad we're keeping him.
I mean, he plays defense, he rebounds, and he can shoot. What else do you want in your center? You know, like
I know it's my home team, but I think people are kind of sleeping on him this year a bit.
Yeah. All right. In terms of challenges, do you face any specific challenges when you kind of have to take your vision onto a limited canvas, like a baseball hat?
I think the challenge, I guess, would be to not fall into the rut of kind of what people are thinking you're going to do. I guess. I guess trying to constantly push what you're doing and not do the same type of thing over and over again. It's also that first design, the Chupacabras design, that thing was crazy when I don't know if you remember the very first version of it. It had like little spots and stuff all over, a lot of shading. And that was like my first like wake up call to be like, keep it simple, stupid. Like just, you're able to get like Clink can do some really crazy stuff and some of it's pretty amazing what they can get into it. But there is a limit, and you gotta try to, make it for them so they're able to get it to that next step and that next level. So I think that's one of the bigger challenges is to build it in a way that it's going to come out in the end looking, pristine.
Yeah, I think that week, you and Manny getting I keep like looping you and Manny together, but like it's because I remember it because you guys both had such like cartoony style mascot logos that had so much motion and personality to it that almost when you shrunk it down to the 6x2.5 canvas, like you had to eliminate a lot of stuff. Like if you have that hat, you can see that there's so many little details. He's holding like a leg. There's like blood flying. You see bone and muscle. There's so much stuff to it.
Yeah, it's completely fine with Manny. I still love following Manny. He does some really awesome stuff, and he works with a lot of people that I'm super jealous that he gets a lot of people I follow too. So he does some really awesome stuff. So I'm completely cool with lumping me in with Manny. So
yeah. In terms of like the world of custom caps, so like this is like something that's always like dynamic and forever changing. Like how do you kind of stay ahead of trends while kind of maintaining your artistic voice?
I don't know. I don't follow. I know you guys are super, like, every week you guys have really awesome combination, like new trends and stuff. So I guess I just try watching what everybody else is doing and building that into kind of what I think would go with a design. I kind of take my sensibilities from like, I guess what inspires me. So like a lot of the I'm a big Halloween fan, so I'll pull in like oranges and stuff like that, or like warm colors that could go with something. Or I guess I just try to pull from the outside, and then I'll kind of take a look and see what colors are out there, what Clink's got in the swatches and stuff like that. And when they added, it was earlier this year or something, they added another like 10 or 12 swatches or something. I was like, just try like, what can I do with these? What kind of design would go with this? So just whatever is out there. I think it's cool to see that Phil's doing the was it Buck Off?
Real tree, yeah.
Real tree, like that's pretty neat to see. So I love to be able to see that kind of stuff, and that you are kind of able to use that stuff that may not be readily like available in the swatches or something. But if you have that idea to do it, you can maybe present that to Casey and the team and see if that's a possibility. So I think it's just trying to be imaginative, but then also seeing what other people are doing, what other hat companies or lifestyle clothing companies are doing, and add that into what. It's so easy to just fall back on black with a hint of a bright color.
You can never have enough black hats.
Because I think that you're focusing on your logo, your design, and then maybe sometimes the hat is secondary. But then when people are seeing it in crits or something like that, they're seeing that whole canvas, and so it's such a huge part of it that you have to take into account and see what else you can do that might entice people to vote for it.
Yeah, like, do you ever change your approach when you're looking at, like, making it look good versus making something that's wearable? Like, do you ever fight with that kind of battle?
Yeah, because I mean, there's some stuff that the China shop design is the white crown, and I had never thought about wearing a white hat.
Yeah,
but it fits it so well that you kind of have to. I mean, otherwise you're going to put a white background behind it, and it's going to tell the story a little bit, but it's not going to be nearly as cool as having the full white crown. So yeah, I'm excited to get that one to see, but I never in a million years would have thought that I would have designed a white hat.
White hat, yeah, for sure. Are there any specific, like you mentioned, collaborations and getting ideas from different members of the community, collectors and stuff like that? Are there any specific themes that you'd love to kind of explore in the future for your cap designs?
I always, an animal design always gets me. Before, when I was in school, I had fought between being a biology major and a design major. I was a zookeeper at our local zoo for 11 years. Cool. So animal designs are always one of my favorite. I love combining animal stuff with cartoony things. I'm always, if anybody has a spooky design, I'd love to do any sort of spooky design. That kind of stuff it's totally at that's my thing to do. So, but that's not to say that, I mean, if anybody has something that may not seem to fit exactly what I do all the time, I love to hear it, because it helps me to step outside of my normal themes and maybe show off that I can do something that that may not be something they're expecting. So I constantly try to think of things that maybe I wouldn't expect myself to do, and it's always fun trying to think of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of animals we could probably talk off camera, but there's a couple of animals that I think need to get done that haven't. But yeah, for sure. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists or designers that would look to get into the world of cap design?
Yeah, I mean, if Clink specifically, I guess, keep at it. I mean, crits are rough sometimes, and you just have to learn to keep going. I mean, you may think it's a home run, and you get to crits, and it just may not hit with other people. So, just keep trying. If you do something and you think that it's a real winner, and then keep draw in a different way, do it something else, do it in a different color way or something like that. But just don't give up. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of highs when you get a design that it shows up in the shop and it's like a future Hall of Famer or something like that. It's so cool. But then there's days where it just won't go for you, go your way. But then it just in general, push yourself, learn what I guess the thing that kind of bothers me when people say, well, I can't draw. Well, push yourself. Everybody can learn a little bit, and then if you need some help, everybody's there to help. I know that, like I mentioned earlier, Phil Hauser, he's helped me a bunch.
Mhm.
I know that John from Ink Park, I've reached out to him before. He's helped me. Casey's an awesome help. There's tons of people that you can throw your sketches at them. People from outside Clink, like if you have a art friend or someone that has nothing to do with anything, they're an awesome resource because they may see something that you're not seeing from your design.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any designs that kind of got left unmade that you would, really want to kind of get
In
revisited,
it just in Clink in general,
or just
or just
yeah,
mine? Well, I've got one that I want to throw out to the Clink gods. I would love to see Jacobo's Deep Terror. I would pay $1,000,000 for that. I don't know what happened with it, but that is seriously one of the coolest designs I've ever seen in my entire life. But I don't know. I guess as far as mine, the one that I really thought, I had a leopard gecko design. I was like, everybody loves leopard geckos. Like
yeah,
everybody wants a. So I had one. It may have fallen into the kind of gross territory, but leopard geckos can lose their tails and regrow their tails. And there was one I had swinging logos are one of my favorites too. But he had his
as the bat.
fallen off tail as the bat,
Yeah, I remember that one.
yeah, that one. That one I wish could have got through, but that may be something I work on in the future and try to mess with.
It's tough, right? Because like I know that forever Critz that's been the bar. Like that's how they grade it. Would you order this? Yes or no? But like sometimes I fight with that in the sense of like instead of making something that the vast majority would just say yeah I would buy it, I would want to make something that less people would want it but fanatically, what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of like 50 people, like 50% of people just saying yeah that's cool I buy it, I'd rather 10% of people say like yo I need that, like,
Yeah, like
that's something that I need, so
yeah.
there's always like that kind of push and pull and wanting to make something that kind of stands out, and a lot of times too, like it's really hard for I guess just regular people to kind of envision what it would look like based off the mock-up.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they might see the hat or whatever, but like until you really get it in hand, you don't really know what that looks like, and
Right.
that's kind of the struggle with it. That's why there's people do complain a little bit about the dead stock drop prices being higher, but at least you know exactly what the hat looks like.
Right.
You're not wondering, okay, will that embroider like this, or scale of the logo versus how it embroidered, and there's a lot of different factors you're not factoring in. So, having said that,
add into it. Yeah.
oh hell yeah, and you don't have to wait,
Mm-hmm.
right? Having said that, dead stock drop. Clink did a small drop this week in terms of dead stock. So these are 3 recolors. They're not leftovers. So these were all recolors of existing designs that went up for sale as of Tuesday. So if you were part of the Clink Club, you got access to them on, I believe, Monday night. And then they went for sale on Tuesday night. So make sure you guys are joining Clink Club. It doesn't cost you anything. And it gives you 1 day advantage to purchase. So these 3 hats came up for Instaship. Do you have any initial thoughts here on any of these 3?
Yeah, I like the colorway of the dead presidents. I think that turned out pretty cool. The VHS Sunrise, I think that fits that pretty cool. I think it's was there like golds and silvers in the design now? I can't really tell.
Well, now it looks like it's like that 3D kind of that teal color with like a high-res pink. So it looks like it's like almost like a 3D image. But I think before, it had like kind of more pastel type colors, if I remember correctly. But yeah, VHS. Casey made that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Fury. That's insane. That's like a flashlight. That thing's crazy.
Yeah,
I love the high. Like it's wild.
Yeah. So for me, I ended up picking up two of these. I can kind of show you in hand. Um, I, I I passed on Fury too many times because I felt like
Hmm.
at the time there were so many tiger
Yeah.
designs with the Clink Room, but then I kept seeing it pop up, and then I think he released one that looked like it was almost like in a Clemson colorway, purple
Mm-hmm.
and orange, and
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, another one. I can't pass this one by, so I ended up picking up Austin's Fury hat. So like even like
Yeah.
compare this to the picture. Like look at the embroidery. This
Right.
is insane.
Yeah. I wish that some hats maybe got a higher, profile with some extra photos or something. I know they've been
Yeah,
doing some stuff on social media, but I didn't even know that the mouth was, the base,
yeah. Like there's
and
so
then
many colors inside.
yeah,
And then the thing is super raised.
oh yeah,
So that is an excellent hat. So it's got like this blue under and then
yeah, that's
the
cool.
neon high res green. And then this one I passed on a couple times, but then this color scheme seemed really cool. So
Hmm.
Dead Presidents, the dusty version they call
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it's got like, yeah, it's extra texture too. It's got that green under, nice
Hmm.
clean hat. So those are available for purchase, and they ship right away. And there's nothing wrong with the VHS too, but I had to limit myself. So I
Right.
think
Yeah.
all in all, this was a really good drop.
Yeah, it's really solid.
All right, so let's move forward now. So now we're going to cover the three hats that are up for pre-order until midnight tonight. So once midnight crosses, they'll be sent for production, and you won't see them for a couple months. But your last chance to pre-order these following six hats. So we're starting off with two of 40's hats. 40 Swords made the one on the left and the one on the right. And then the middle was a collaboration between Sierra Gons and the Fitted Fanatic.
Mhm.
What are your initial thoughts here?
I love that the Cerberus, the triple threat. I think
Yeah,
that's it's so cool. I love the story that he's got going with the Bitter Rivals. Just that whole series is really cool. He's got a whole basically comic book kind of going with all those designs.
hmm
And then the Sierra and the Fitted Fanatic, though, it's really cool. I like the expressions. I guess uh, I just think it's really well done. Nice big bold colors and heavy lines and stuff that'll look really well embroidered once it's out.
yeah. I like the middle one for the fact that they kind of featured three Mesoamerican civilizations. So the center is Olmec, left Mayan, and then the right like Aztec. So like he's really, I don't know, anything I can kind of tell a story I'm
Hmm.
into, and kind of you can learn something about different things. Did a lot of like native studies when I got my degree in
Hmm.
anthropology years back. Nothing practical came out of that, but I did learn some stuff about that in my past. So it's cool to see that. The triple threat one, he's got such a cool way to play with color there.
Hmm.
So that's for people who don't know, that's like the mythical creature that guards the gates of hell. So it's
Hmm.
cool that like one side of him is heavily like illuminated, and like there's that little touch, because that would be behind him, so that the hell would be behind him. So that's
Hmm.
why he's reddish, on that side. Just that like little small detail, man. He
Yeah.
doesn't miss on that kind of stuff. Like
Hmm.
he nailed it with that. And then then Bitter Rivals. If you're collecting that series,
Yeah.
um, that's like the perfect like companion hat. Sometimes I like taking group pictures of hats sometimes, and like just having all three like that. That would be elite. He even has one where I believe like the ninja stars are coming at you
Yeah. It's just
out of
the weapons. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, 40's one of the guys. I think he's like top tier. So,
Hmm.
he's killing it with that one. Let's take a look here at what the other three are. And Wind Studio with Cryptids, Buried at Sea by COD and Flanagan, and then Drama Queen by Jason V. What are your initial thoughts here?
Yeah, I like these ones too. I really like the expression of that wolf on the cryptids, the werewolf,
Hmm.
I guess. I think that's pretty cool. I like they're gonna have some really cool depth on the buried at sea. I think I can see I can picture the skull being kind of recessed into
Yeah.
the diving helmet. I can see the 3D depth on that. That would be really cool. And then Jason V, just another kind of legendary uh, clinker. He just got just such good stuff. I think that this one's really cool. It's got a really unique uh, hat colorway. I don't think has there been any other. I know that they've done like white fronts, but any other different colored ones yet like that?
Not like
I
that.
can't.
Like
Yeah,
black with a red front panel and then
yeah,
potentially metallic gold
yeah. That's
button in UV. I don't think that's been done before.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the card imagery.
Hmm.
She's happy, and then like you got the whole laugh now, cry later
Yeah,
thing, with like the Queen of Hearts, broken heart. I think he nailed it with that. Yeah, I think this is a solid week, man.
it
This
is.
is
Yeah.
going to be these all 6 hats are fighting really hard to get your dollar, man. I
Hmm.
don't even know where to go, really. Yeah, it sucks being on a budget sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
This is-
I really love Triple Threat from the last slide. I think that's probably my favorite out of the whole group. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's the whole week is really solid.
Yeah, yeah. And Barry, I see purple, black, 220. You
Hmm.
never go wrong with that. Cryptoids, pretty solid. He's got like different characters. My only thing with that is like it's it's not super legible what it is. Like at first, like that Yeti guy almost
Hmm.
looks like a lion, and then because he's next to like a wolf, but I think that's supposed to be a werewolf. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh, these are all supposed to be like mythical creatures
yeah. So
with
you
the
got
alien.
the alien and the UFO back there.
Yeah. So, but like, if I were to pick a weaker one out of the three, I think I would say it's that one. But all in all, this is a really solid week, man.
Hmm.
There's no real like huge misses, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, now to the main event. Let's get into the crits portion. So these will all be going up tomorrow for Monday Morning Crits, and you're voting. But we get to see them early. So let's take a look. Bank Heist by Matt Bell. Matt Bell was our guest last week,
Hmm.
or was it last week? I think it was.
I think it
I've
was.
lost track of all sorts of time, but Matt Bell's back with this raccoon, this sticky bandit right here, stealing gold bars and money. What are your thoughts here?
I like this. He's been putting out a lot of designs, and they've all been really solid.
Mhm.
I really like the texture in the bag. You can kind of see the coins inside the bag there.
Yeah,
Um, the tail kind of wrapped around it, kind of securing that bag a bit, and the gold bar. Um, I think the only thing that kind of gets lost is maybe the coin and the mouth, but other than
yeah,
that, I really like the shading on the face. You kind of got that dark side off to the back side of his face, so it gives it a little bit more dimension. Um, the money kind of flying off. I think it's really solid. I like um, the idea behind it. You know, raccoons being little bandits, like
hmm
getting in trash and stuff, and kind of upgrading that to a bank heist. I think it's pretty cool.
yeah. My only, I like it. I like that he went with a half body. That way you can really
Hmm.
pack it the detail. My only critique is just be the nitpick of little things. I think maybe
Right.
his left hand, so the hand on
Oh,
the right side is a little bit
a little
big.
big.
His snout is a little bit low. Maybe just raise his snout a little
Hmm.
bit, maybe pushing in a tiny bit. But that's just like nitpicking small
Right.
aesthetic choices. He almost looks more wolf than anything
Yeah.
from the snout, but I can't argue with the concept and the design. I think he
Right.
nailed it. Yeah, but yeah, just some small stuff. Maybe play with a little bit of the shading on the bag. Reverse it so that the dark side's on the top. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's just all like nitpicky stuff that might not even make sense once he does it.
I think
I think
maybe
he
could
nailed it.
maybe bring that backhand out a little bit, maybe
Hmm
lower it a little bit, and kind of shrink it. Maybe you could have the more of a profile of it and have the gold kind of shining or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Initially, I thought that maybe there would be a cool space to have like a in the bag and the tail, but I do like what you said, where he's kind of holding it, so it's kind of
Yeah, it looks to me like
kind of
he's
gripping it.
may not be, but I mean, it kind of looks like to me it's kind of wrapped around the bag a little bit, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, maybe a little bit more texture in the tail or something like that because they got kind of the big kind of bushy tails,
Yeah.
um, but other than that, I mean, I think it's definitely solid, and I mean, there's the stuff that kind of brought up, but I think it's a cool idea and it's a solid execution.
How do you feel about outlines like this? So he's got like a really
Yeah.
thick kind of outline, but then the two coins and the money isn't outlined. Would you outline everything, or do you like that he didn't outline the small
I
stuff?
I don't know because I think that you could maybe get the idea of the dollar bills
Mhm.
with just the same color
Yeah.
of green, and maybe you wouldn't have to have that extra color in there. Um, Maybe just do some negative space with maybe some detail of it, but
Yeah.
um, it doesn't bother me, I guess, a whole lot. But the coins might get a little lost. Maybe um, I don't know.
Yeah. I almost feel like you can achieve that same effect by kind of limiting the detail a little bit and just making that like a silhouette, almost like
Hmm.
just an outline, like a shadow, or if anything. I don't know, but I think all in all, the concept's there. It's like a really cool design,
Hmm.
but like a small couple like
Yeah.
details would kind of just take it up a notch. But yeah, I think he did a great job nonetheless. So moving forward, we got King Claws by Edge Branding. What do you think here?
So this is another. I think I saw it looking through submissions. I think it's another. Um, is it another Notorious B.I.G. reference?
Seems like it, yeah.
Um, I like the kind of the shine on the gold. I think that's pretty cool. It's got strong shapes, not like a ton of like interior work that I think that kind of lends itself to making it like super kind of bold looking. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's really solid. I think you could get some really cool dimension with the chains and stuff. Um, Trying to think if there's anything, it's immediately like sticking out at me. Um, Nothing like anatomical that I'm seeing that's, that immediately jumps out as, something that looks off or anything. I think it's a good idea to just do the like the bust, like the just from the neck up, I guess.
Mhm.
Get more, big, heavy blocks of color and stuff like that. That Clint could really bring out with the embroidery.
This one's tough because like if you isolate each piece, I
Hmm.
feel like it kind of doesn't really go together. Like so, like if you were to isolate just the head, right,
Yeah.
or the face, it almost looks like a saber-toothed tiger or some type
Hmm.
of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like a color choice where he's like his snout and the area around his eyes are almost like bone color. I don't know what it
Okay.
is, but it's not screaming bear to me right
Okay.
off the hop. And then I feel like the chain is like almost like an afterthought. It's like just thrown on top. It doesn't really aesthetically doesn't really add anything to the design. And
Yeah.
then yeah,
uh,
and the crown is a bit flat to me.
I don't mind the crown. I think the crown is is okay for just to me, but I think maybe looking back at like 40 swords, like his this is a silly detail, but I notice it every time he uses them. But every time he uses chains, the way that he gets the links and everything together, it works perfectly. I
Yeah,
think maybe looking back at some of that kind of stuff, and maybe adding a little bit of heaviness to the chain, so it makes it feel like it's a big heavy chain, and maybe not looking a little bit kind of paperclip-ish.
yeah,
So maybe adding maybe some more angle to it, or thickening it up a bit in places, and maybe I don't know, just I guess giving some more heaviness to it. That's kind of an abstract way to say it, but just
I like,
maybe.
yeah, I like what he tried to do. Like it's almost
Mhm.
like a monochromatic design. Everything's in like the shade of gray to yellow. Like the hat, he's even kind of like that. But
Mhm.
um, I don't know. I don't really get it. I guess is what I mean. Like
Right.
it's like a bear, but it's kind of in the Biggie pose. He's got the Biggie crown, but like why a bear? Like
Right. Yeah, I
he
didn't know
was,
if there was some other relation between the
yeah,
two, the bear and
yeah. I'm always like nervous about that kind of stuff
right.
because bear is like to me is like a symbol of California. Biggie was killed in California.
Oh,
There's all
yeah, I
like a
didn't.
lot of like little things about it, but it's drawn nice. Like it's like
Mhm.
a nice looking thing. I'm just not in love with the concept here.
Right.
Like I don't know what other than like a bear being the king of the
Kind of.
forest or something. I don't know what it's trying to say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what the connection is, but I'm not super familiar with Biggie or anything like that. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a connection that I don't know about, um, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you would have just killed the chain and the crown and just turned this into like a saber-tooth tiger or something,
Hmm.
like yeah, I could be into that. Like, you know, uh, yeah, it's just I don't really quite know what I'm looking at, I guess.
Right.
Is the
You could
thing.
run with the idea of the bear being like the North American like king of the forest or whatever, and do
Mhm.
uh like a wood crown or something like that. Like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
like
wood
really
chain or something. Yeah.
a badass like this bear is like gonna kick everybody's ass, and he's like the king of everything, and he's got like his self-made crown and self-made chain out of like some old yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah. Like beaver pelts or something.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it may just be a little bit too abstract of a connection
Hmm.
for not having it blatant in the name. I think it may have been called something else in the original submission.
Possible.
Um, but maybe like that one we saw a few weeks ago with the pig, just
Yeah.
maybe not strong enough connection between the name and the design that would lead a lot of people to get the idea.
Yeah, like an antler crown would be cool or
Yeah.
something. Like something, local to the local fauna. But
Yep.
all right, cool. Let's move on. Evolution Kong by Lane and Seamus. What do you think here?
This is a fun idea. I saw this one pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how it would sit on a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's a really fun idea. Like the Clink Kong at the end, I think it definitely fits like what we've seen with other artists' interpretations of what Clink Kong actually like a cartoony version of Clink Kong looks like. I like the kind of Neanderthal pose in the middle. I think it's fun. Um, I think I'm curious to see how like it would work with the like the pencil if that would show up really well in the design. I would um, after embroidery and stuff. But I think it's a lot of fun. It's a neat idea. Um, I wonder if there's a way that you could maybe show like the Neanderthal with maybe like a stone tablet or something like that, and like the other earlier versions having like some rudimentary tools or something that would kind of evolve its way into the pencil and notebook or something too.
Yeah. I released a hat like this like many years ago
Oh,
called The Evolution of a Cap Collector. And
okay.
it went from like, early chimp hominid to Neanderthal to Homo habilis to like
Hmm.
just a guy wearing a hat. But it was like a silhouette, so it didn't have like crazy details
Okay.
like this. Um, yeah, this is like a fun concept to kind of see revisited. I don't know. It's tough to really pack 5 characters because usually you see five,
Hmm.
6. Three is not like a normal number. So for like the evolutionary like thing like this. So
Right.
I don't know. It's it's an interesting concept. I think they posted like 3 different variations, and this is the one they went with. But yeah, I like the concept. I mean, I did something very, very similar, so I like the, like, you know, the thing where it's like, you know, we're evolving to where we are today. So yeah, this is like a cool concept for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's not like a. I think maybe adding some sort of a background or something would kind of take away from it. I'm kind of glad that that's not.
Yeah.
And that's not thrown in there. Sometimes you see a design and you're like, oh, that's really cool on its own. I don't think I can get rid of the whole background. I'm glad that there's not something kind of shoehorned in. But yeah, I'd be curious. I'd be really interesting to see it, like how the weight of the design is like on a cap. Like if it looks like once it's embroidered, if it looks a little heavy on the one side or something like that. But I think it's fun. Yeah.
It's hard knocking in that level of detail, especially in like the face and stuff like that, when it's like such small characters. But
that's what I was curious about, that pencil. I don't know. I feel like the pencil would just look kind of on the hat.
Yeah, it's definitely going to need to clean up a little bit, or even simplify it. Silhouette might be the best way to do it. That way you're not having to punch in those little details. Because the thing is, if you run so many colors and so many switches like this, you almost have to do it flat. And it ends up looking a lot cheaper and stuff like that. So, you know, we'll see where this one goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what people think of it in the voting.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Moving forward, we got Just a Beaver, a tri-dub design co. And it's just a beaver.
I was gonna say, is it literally just a beaver, or is there something?
Yeah.
Okay. First thoughts, I love seeing a simple design. Just every once in a while, like I push myself to do like probably 2 interior designs sometimes, and I have to kind of reel myself in, and so it's nice. It's a nice kind of breath of fresh air to see something that's like, it's a iconic, like it's an icon. It's like big, bold, thick lines, you know, 2 colors, and there it is. It's a beaver. I mean, I like it.
Yeah, it's fun to me. Like me as a Canadian, this screams like Roots. I don't know if you're familiar with the brand Roots Canada clothing brand. So they did. They've been around forever, but they did the. You remember the Olympics one year? I think it was Salt Lake City. Y'all were wearing those crazy frilly hats. That's Roots. Roots made that. Okay. And then with the Olympics before, they had the whole Canadian Olympic team wearing berets. So they're just like a regular, you know, Canadian brand that like their logo is just a beaver. So yeah, so that's where I worry about this one. Okay. Aesthetically though, it's cool, it's fun, you know. It's simple. It's probably going to be whatever gold there is flat, and then the brown kind of toasted peanut style color would be raised. I think it would look cool as a hat. I think the imagery is strong. I just worry a little bit about the legal part of it passing through, but yeah, I think, you know, it's solid. As a Canadian, we have to almost like beavers because it's our national animal. It's one of our national animals. So
we've got some here in Indiana too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Ugly looking motherfuckers though.
Yeah, they started reintroducing them back into kind of northern Indiana here.
People want them in the wild. Trees and stuff, damming up places.
I don't know. This one looks. I like that it kind of bucks the it's a Clink design hat. Like I think that it it's something that I would see. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Aaron Draplin. Like his thing is like thick lines. He's a designer. He does a lot of icons and typography and stuff. But his tagline is thick lines. And so this kind of looks like something like from his like school of thought. And it's something that it's gonna embroider how you see it. I mean, it doesn't kind of lend itself to, you know, well, is it gonna be able to do this crazy thing, or like this is, you know, you're gonna get some big, you know, heavy colors and heavy lines, and um, yeah, it's a beaver.
Would you ever would you add like the etch lines for the tail? Some cross maybe hatches or
That's what I was thinking. If maybe you turned that whole inverted
brown?
the colors, yeah, and make that the whole tail brown, and maybe add in some hash lines or something in the tail. Um,
Mm.
but I don't know if that would. No, I don't think it would take away from anything. The simplicity of it all. I think maybe you just add a couple of, you know, strong X's or something in the back, and then
Yeah.
that'll kind of give the idea anyway.
Mm.
Um, I like the little notch on the teeth.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean the tail could be inverted there, and then have a little bit of extra design on that, and um, yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. Almost like if you were to just cover the name and kind of look at it, you might think squirrel right away. You might think gopher or something. But
yeah, maybe yeah. I guess maybe if you did that with the tail, I think that would, you know,
it'd make it more obviously, yeah.
right,
A beaver, yeah. Yeah, it's right there though. I think.
yeah.
All right, let's take a look at what else is next. We have pulled pork. Seamus is back with B Dork.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw this one. I like the way the rope's rendered. I think that's pretty cool. It's got some nice dimension to it. This is maybe, since the rope doesn't have the outline. I don't know if maybe the whole design doesn't need an outline.
Yeah.
The legs may not need it.
I'm right there with you.
I think the outlines are a bit distracting, or maybe have them, if you're gonna do that, a different color. Maybe make them the same color as part of the rope or something. But yeah, I don't think they're necessary. I think they're a little bit distracting. Um,
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's the first thing I picked up on. Like they both have such strong outlines,
Yeah.
and then the rope doesn't have it at all.
yeah,
You almost lose the rope in the design.
yeah,
Kind of not sure where you're supposed to be drawn to, like your eyes. You see, it's just like kind of
hmm
almost they're just naked pigs.
yeah.
There,
Well, you
so
see the rope kind of on the pig on the right. It
yeah,
goes in front of him, and it goes back
behind
behind
him.
his foot,
Yeah,
which I love. But it gets kind of lost in that outline. I think
yeah,
I because it's in front of the outline but behind the foot. So I don't know if you're you know, really wanting an outline, maybe go with something that's darker. But I don't think it needs it at all. I think you've got enough dimension and stuff with the design itself, instead of, you know, adding in the outline too.
I like how the flag there is like right in the center of it, sits on the seam. It's
Yeah.
really interesting because you don't see a lot of designs like that are like so away from the seam of the
hmm
hat. It's different, right? It's kind of thinking out the
Yeah.
box. It's a good pun. Like
Right.
the concept's funny. Yeah,
Yeah. I wonder if there's something fun. The flag works fine. I'm just kind of adding something else. But if there's something in the middle that you could add in that would add in a joke or something. But I mean, the flag works fine as is. But I was wondering if there's something silly that you could add in as the flag. If it's like a napkin or something like that, or like
yeah,
um,
like a bandana or something,
or
or
like a checker napkin or something. Looks like a bib that you'd wear at like a barbecue restaurant or something like that. But I think it works fine. I guess if you didn't have the name in front of you and you saw it and you were just walking down the street and you saw someone wearing it, would you immediately get the pun? I think it
pulled
works
pork.
pretty well. I don't think you need
I
to. I
don't
mean, it's
know.
not one of those where you.
It's hard, right? Because it's like pig tug of war, like pulling pork. It's close.
You get to it.
I don't know. Yeah, you get to it eventually.
After a bit of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you think would win?
The only thing, I mean that the outline's the only thing that is kind of blatant to me. Like I love the depth that you get with the rope going back behind that foot and then coming back in front of them, and then them holding it. So I could see their arms kind of being that outer layer of embroidery with the rope, and then the rope kind of I think it's some really neat stuff there.
Who do you think wins this battle?
I think the guy on the left, I think he's got a little more beef to him.
He looks heavier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks like he's not struggling as hard. The guy on the right, he looks like he's really kind of he's
really tugging and it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, but regardless, great work, B Dork and Seamus. Tooth Decay. Dick Amhoff is back, this time teaming up with 65 Bold to give us a zombie tooth. What are you thinking here?
I wish I thought of this one.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun design. I like it. It's it feels like not like it was actually kind of hand drawn as opposed to vector click, like point and click. It feels a lot more kind of organic, I guess.
It's got a lot of personality too.
It does, yeah.
I think that negative space around the eyes too, and the mouth being like a cavity, like just doing those parts flat, but then doing like the tooth itself kind of raised and textured, and then the eyes being raised. I think that'll be a really cool look when it's done. If they can really punch in the look. Yeah, I just think this thing has a lot of personality. It's a really cool design. Purple with Volt always goes. I think like Ink Park did a couple in this colorway. It was like his arcade design, I think, or maybe one of his Reapers or something. But yeah, this screams Clink Room to me.
Part of me wishes, and this is like the person that probably wouldn't get their design through, is I wish it was a little grosser. Like when I think of like tooth decay, like maybe like chips off the tooth, or like
maybe darker,
maybe some of that green like on it somewhere, like kind of oozing a little bit or something, or like the brain like oozing some of that green or something like that. Yeah, I like the kind of like turned in feet, kind of have that like zombie pose. I'd be interested to see what would look like kind of on the other side of going into the shop.
Yeah. I almost feel like his hands aren't doing enough. He's just
maybe have one hand kind of reaching, give it a little bit of 3D. Have one hand reaching out and one hand kind of like back this way or something like that. Because you got that zombie shuffle going, and maybe a little bit of just extra hands. Or you could even tilt the tooth a little bit and have one arm kind of dragging and then have the other one up or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking about the feet too. The feet are almost too level or something. Maybe make one foot even lower so you can even just tilt the whole design a little bit. And yeah, like you said, have them reach maybe potentially, but
you could have the feet and the arms as like the nerves of the tooth, and have like
right,
like the arms and the feet be like that pink color or something like that, so it looks like the nerves are kind of cracked out of the tooth or something like that.
Yeah, man, having tooth pain is like one of the worst things ever.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think this is a great concept for sure. Moving forward, we got the light owl. So instead of the night owl, he is the light owl. Kind of almost abstracty from Wind Studio. What are your initial thoughts here?
You got the owl kind of morphing into the Northern Lights, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's got strong colors. I really love the greens and the blues and stuff. It's a really nice combo. It looks pretty cool. Strong shapes. The face on the owl looks pretty fierce.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't love the torso area.
yeah, it's a little long. Maybe a little more barrel chested at like a bit more of a shape to the owl. You see an owl and it's like a really strong shape, and this kind of looks a little rubbery, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I guess it would make sense if the torso was maybe turning into Northern Lights or something too. But I guess yeah, it looks kind of long, I guess.
Yeah, it just feels a little unfinished with that kind of torso area, and then the tail feathers kind of just being all over the place. But it is an interesting concept for sure. The face is drawn real well. Maybe I increase the size of the face even though if just mess with the scale a little bit. I mean, like he's already like melting away or whatever, so I would probably want to punch up his face a little bit. But all in all, cool concept, I think.
I feel like maybe the Northern Lights going backwards too, because if they're kind of seeming like they're going out front of him. So maybe if they're maybe going backwards a little bit, maybe look like there's more movement in the design too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of an awkward pose.
Yeah. The wings look small. I guess maybe if you would work on the proportions of the body, I think it might fix a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I really like the face. I think it's a neat idea. I wonder if you add in some little stars or something into the negative space of the Northern Lights up there, if that would kind of maybe punch in a little bit more of an idea to it, kind of maybe expand it a little bit more, and then add in a little bit more shapes and stuff to it. Was Arctos? Was that Northern Lights inspired too?
I think so. I think Arctos was like a something in Germany, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, or Nordic maybe. But
I remember there being some. I know that was obviously a little bit more of a fine stuff in design, but I think there were some cool shapes and stuff that really pulled up too.
Yeah, Arctos, Greek word for bear.
Yeah, he's
Bear of the North though. It could have been Northern Lights too.
Oh yeah, the word Arctic also comes from Arctos, which made the Northern Lights motif a natural fit. He's got like some stars and stuff that are kind of in the design that I think could really add a little bit to the bigger shapes inside the wings. I guess the kind of vaporized wings or whatever. Do you think? What about the stars and the outside?
I feel like it's a weird placement. It's so low on the design. Kind of want them on the higher spots, but I like the idea of you turning those into negative spaces into like that kind of liquidized sky instead.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but because it's already like so like melted and stuff like that, would you have to distort the star? If you just put like a regular star in there, it might throw it off. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. He's got like a cool concept.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's screaming light owl. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe just tackle one thing at a time. Like nail the owl first, and then tie into the stuff.
I think of owl. I think of like a big regal like.
Yeah, the wings
owl,
right out. Yeah,
big wings.
Talons huge.
Yeah, and then and like that kind of barrel body and just so much like power in it. And I feel like this maybe kind of got stretched out a little bit, and the wings maybe just need a little bit more power to it. And I think that would also allow you to add in more of that Northern Lights design.
It's almost like not even a natural position for now. Because really, like if he's flying that way, maybe he's the tilt. I don't know. Maybe we're getting too technical with it. I just feel like
doing our best owl impressions.
Yeah, it's just like a really awkward pose for it. Like it's not helping it. Maybe if you did it like right on and you saw like just feathers and then that turned into the negative silhouette scenescape thing that everyone does.
You could have it like the motion of the wings, like have it kind of make that kind of motion of as it's if it's head on, I guess, and it's kind of flapped its wings up like that. You have maybe the northern lights like coming up
exactly
underside of the wings or something like that.
It shows the landscape. Yeah.
And you get those big yellow eyes or something right in the middle, and have some big talons underneath that look like it could just pick up anything it wanted.
Yeah, like those talons look like they're not picking up anything, man.
Yeah.
All right. But cool concept win. Let's take a look at what else is coming down the pipe. Texas Death Ride. Levi's back with this El Diablo going to hell in a limousine. I think JBL, a wrestler, when I look at something like this.
Stone Cold JBL.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
It's fun. I would, I guess, my first look at it, maybe do a custom font or like sketch it up instead of using maybe system fonts for like the license plate, and maybe do your own kind of cool design with that. And then the hand's fun, the skeletal hand.
Yeah, it's like the Rolls Royce kind of emblem there. It's got the H or the devil horns too.
Well, I feel like it just needs a little bit more evil to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
fire or like
it's too nice. The limo
like
is
a
like
silhouette
too nice.
of like a skeleton in the driver's seat or something like that, or like maybe have like a skeleton or something like a demon like poking its head out the side of it or something like that. Just like turn the
Maybe
evil
flames,
up maybe another like 25% or something like that.
Maybe flames or dripping blood on the bunker or something, you know, like
I always like if I'm going to do an outline or something like that, making it so it's not just a straight up outline, adding shape to the outline so it's not just another outer layer. So maybe if you add like the flames on the outside with that red coming off the tires or something like that.
It's gonna be hard to like to show some sort of motion or whatever. It almost looks like it's too static. Like it's just parked there. Like you're right. I think like either having like a crazy driver kind of peek his head out, Jim Carrey style, or having some type of motion just to see that like either the car's on or on fire, or speeding or something. It's just almost too flat right now. I think. That's the only thing. And like I'm with you, gore it up a little, give it a little twisted metal, you know, maybe, you know, some dinks in the bumper from running people over or something. Yeah,
maybe add in like a cow skull also like in the middle instead of just the horns. Like that could, you know, do something, make the skull have like some fiery eyes or something like that. I mean, you don't want to get into like Pixar territory and give like eyes or something in the windshield or something like that, but I think just maybe a little bit more like just craziness, just something that's a little silly but a little like scary, a little like riding that line. My favorite thing to do is ride the line between like over the top like gore, scariness, and like fun. Like I'm a huge fan of like 80s monster movies like The Blob and you know, Creep Show and stuff, and just monsters and stuff like that. And a lot of those movies are able to kind of ride the line between something that's silly and then something that's fun and something that's like really gross and scary. So I think maybe, you know, finding that line with this one and adding maybe a little bit of the death or something like that to it. You know, it's Grim Reaper or something sticking his head out the window or something like that.
Yeah. I'm with you though with the fonts too. Like the fonts it's almost too clean.
Yeah, the hell looks a little like, I know they're probably trying to make it look like a license plate.
Yeah.
But it's kind of boring, I guess. Maybe like using just the hand sketched or something like that, as opposed to you know, a system font or something for it.
Yeah, I have like hell written in blood and
Mm-hmm.
the El Diablo. There's like no space between the two.
Yeah,
It's kind of throwing me off.
I'd be worried about how that would embroider too. Maybe you don't need that, and maybe you move that. The hand, I love the hand. It's one of my favorite parts of it. Maybe you move that
it more forward.
hand and move it forward a bit and make it a little bit bigger and just get rid of the El Diablo or something like that. Or I don't know.
Yeah. As a concept, it's right there, but yeah, it's just some small execution things, I think, to take it to the next level. But Discovery Dogs, this one's fun. Peter.
Yes, so cute.
It's kind of, what kind of dog do you think this would be? This would kind of be like a
little Jack Russell, little
maybe like a Shih Tzu poodle,
Shih Tzu,
maybe.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I saw this one pop up too. I really like this one. It's kind of that same thing that I tried to do with the planetary primate one, where I did the chimp, and so I think they're basing this one off of was it Leica, the
dog that went into space.
Dog in space, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I like the kind of sketchy. It looks like it's like hand drawn. The little smile is really cute. I'm not sure what's on the dog's back.
Yeah, it's almost like like a little thrusters or something. Yeah, I don't know. He's definitely got some stuff though.
Yeah. The stars in the visor are pretty nice. Yeah, I'd like to see this kind of style, see how it would work with embroidery, because it does look, you know, really hand sketched, and the kind of the brush strokes and everything are pretty cool, and the line weights are varied, and I think it's really fun, and it's not something you see kind of the cute, like you know, fun stuff. You don't see a ton of it in Clink a lot.
Yeah, it's almost like a cartoon that's drawn on like or painted on one of those cells, you know, like. But yeah, I think he nailed it. All right, see what's next. Jalapeno poppers, Big Red and Sierra Gons got together. Interesting. I feel like
is it hitting the right way?
I was gonna say, I think the hitting is backwards, first off, because he's swinging left to right, but the contact is on the left side. It would be behind the bat. The ball's flying straight up too. The thing is, and the arms would be backwards too. Yeah, it's tough, right? Because if the thing is not adding anything to your design, it's just muddying it up. So the connection spot and the ball is definitely not adding anything to the design. It's almost taking away from the design. That's tough.
Yeah.
And then I know the jalapeno is green anyway, and there's not much you could do to it, but I guess that's why he's got the yellow stuff.
It's filled with so jalapeno popper is probably filled with some kind of cheese or something like that, or
I guess. But the cheese should be white, right? In the jalapeno popper. I don't know.
I feel like it's a lot of green. You could probably the crown maybe different color to contrast with the green.
Yeah.
I also the eyes kind of pointing up and watching the ball. I know it may not make as much sense, but I always like having the eyes pointing at the viewer, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe seeing what I guess what would a knife or something like that would maybe associate more with like a food or something as the bat. I think that's a really cool idea. Something that I've seen, I've probably stolen from Brandios a million times or something like that. Is when that's probably my favorite thing is when they use an object that's not a bat as a bat. Like the Eugene with the Eugene Emeralds with the tree and stuff like that. So
we
wonder
saw
if
Sierra do that. He did it with the PB&J kind.
Oh, he did. Yeah, that was a knife, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's something else you could add in with that. I know anytime like I've tried doing like a swinging logo or something like that, I've had somebody take pictures of me like in kind of the pose and try to match that up as best as I can. Or try to find maybe some reference pictures.
Because there's so many little things about a swing, you know, how you line up your hands, you know, which way your shoulder faces and where your feet go. And, you know, what part of the swing do your feet stay down and what part of your feet, you know, do you have a leg kick? There's so many little things. And, you know, we're asking a lot. This is a freaking jalapeno.
It's a jalapeno.
You know? Yeah. So, like, you know, I understand when I say all that, but
I mean, it is Critz. So, I mean, like, it's silly to kind of talk about that kind of stuff, but I guess it's what we're here for. But I think if there's maybe some sort of an adjustment to the way that it's holding it, I think it might be a little more successful. I think it's rendered really well. I think I like the way Sierra uses shadows and stuff like that. There's just a couple of things with maybe anatomy of a jalapeno popper, but yeah, just if you're gonna put arms on something, I kind of gotta look natural in whatever it is.
I feel like it's suffering a little bit too from color choices too. So like the yellow kind of drip, the blue instead of a black outline. Like there's some small little things too. But I think like with a couple, you know, changes, he'll get it back on track.
Yeah.
Sierra's a great artist.
Yeah.
And cool seeing him team with Big Red. I've never seen that tag, Big Red Ink. Interesting. And that's it. We did it. 10 designs. It's not a bad week. Week. Before we sign off, where can people find you and your work?
I'm mostly posting things on Instagram at Josh Volz. Got a website. It's terribly out of date. It's a project I'm trying to work on. You can find my designs. I do beer label design for a brewery here in Fort Wayne called Mad Anthony. So buy our beer. It's fun doing that stuff. But yeah, on my Instagram, send me a message.
Yeah, it's cool getting to know you. I've seen you around for a number of years. First time I got you in front of a camera that I can remember. But it's been cool kicking it. Hopefully we'll get you back real soon. But yeah, hopefully people took the chance to kind of get to know you a little bit better. This was the whole point of, you know, having the Clink Room on this platform, was to kind of get to know a little bit more about the artists and what they're about and who they are, and hopefully it'll make it easier for people to pre-order your hats. So I think mission accomplished. But yeah, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to.
I appreciate you asking. I watched you guys ever since that first show that the Chupacabras was on. So I appreciate you asking me, and thank you.
Cool. Long time coming. For Josh and Leon, we're out here. Peace.
Running these spots fast, and this is just the math. When we connect with good hats, it's like multiplying exponents in bar graphs. Big bang times big bang, and then we laugh. Get in position, it's